Hello, welcome to my review of Paco Rabanne's Ultraviolet. This is a request review, another request by, it's a tongue twister, NKOTBSB UK girl. I said before, it's New Kids on the Block, Backstreet Boys, from the UK, which means yeah, girl. This one's for you, you asked me about it, so I'm going to do it. Yeah, this is Paco Rabanne's Ultraviolet. This is an Oriental floral that came out in 1991. 90s again. I will always say the 90s were the best years for fragrance. For me, it's when I started discovering it, it's when I started noticing them, and I do think it's a time when fragrances kind of became a little bit more contemporary. Maybe I'm being naive, I don't know, but that's just my time frame of perfumery. Things started to become a little bit more contemporary and everything was a little bit different. And this one's definitely a corker of a fragrance. A corker, if you don't know, like London or English slang, is something good basically. It's a corker, it's a special one. So yeah, I'll show you the bottle first because it's really unusual. I've smelled the men's one of it as well, which I think is also quite an outstanding fragrance for being different. This one is, you can tell by the name already, it's a violet based fragrance. It's called Ultraviolet. But here's the bottle. I call it the little purple pill of pleasure. I love purple things anyway, it's just my way. I love things that are purple. But this one goes a little bit further. The bottom of it is kind of, the liquid's held in like this half of the sphere. It's like a pill shape, like a medicine, I guess. So you've got, yeah, the liquid's purple. The glass isn't purple, you can tell. It's got this kind of petrol, pearlescent kind of deal going on at the bottom. The lid is silver. It says Ultraviolet here, and the sprayer is here. And the way it sprays, if you don't know already, is you have to squeeze the entire thing like that. It's like it's very easy to apply. You could even play games with it, I guess. Not that you'd want to, but mine's an 80ml. And as far as I'm aware, that's the biggest it comes in. It doesn't come in 100, which usually is the way. Whoa, I'm breathing that in right now. Not a bad thing, but you don't really want to taste it. No, you don't want to taste it. Yeah, it's 80ml. It's an Eau De Parfum, and it doesn't come in an Eau De Toilette, as far as I know. There are many different variations on this. There's a lot of different ultraviolets. There's an ultra red. There's an ultraviolet. Oh, there's tons. Like, it just boggles my brain. I've just stuck to this one. I've only ever briefly smelled the ultraviolet red one, but this one is special enough to me that I don't really want to venture into different variations of it. So yeah, the rim bit of it's rubber, which is the bit that allows you to squeeze it and spray it. And yeah, and I think the 30ml one, which is always usually the smallest size, is a completely different shape. I'm not sure. It's a different shape, but I can't remember what the shape of it is. But anyway, so what's in it? Yeah, it's a violet-based fragrance, obviously by the name. And I'll just say about violets, I've recently learned that the smell of violets is beautiful, without a shadow of a doubt. It conjures up the image of me of purple perfectly, but light, like baby light purple. It's very delicate, it's sweet and it's powdery, and violets don't actually give up their essence naturally. It needs to constantly be recreated in fragrances, which is a shame because, you know, it'd be nice to be able to have a real violet, but I think, you know, perfumers nowadays are so good that they can create something pretty much exact. But yeah, I'll talk about it more in a minute. I'm just going on now. So what's in it? So the top notes are, as I look down, you've got almond, you've got pepper, actual pepper, the spice. Then you've got orange pepper or pimento, which over here I call it capsicum. It's like, you know, like a bell pepper, which is a really unusual note because it's very kind of vegetable smelling. You know, if you smell like a green capsicum pepper, it's very kind of earthy green smelling, almost like galbanum, if you've ever smelled galbanum before. That's a very weird one. Coriander, another spice, but kind of a green note. Apricot, and then rosewood. Now, Brazilian rosewood, woods are normally bass notes or sometimes heart, but rosewood being what it is, it's a very light wood. It's a very floral, beautiful smelling wood, which I've smelled in quite a few fragrances before, namely Tristan by Blackfing's Alchemy Lab. It's a gorgeous note. The heart notes, the flowers. So you've got rose, the obvious one, violet. You've got Japanese osmanthus, which supposedly gives off a kind of apricotish vibe. I've never smelled it on its own, I don't know, I can't say. And then the base seems quite basic. It's cedarwood, vanilla, amber and patchouli. So it's got, you know, it's got quite a few interesting notes in there, I'd say. It's kind of got a combination of very sweet, beautiful woodsiness, but then it's got these weird spices and vegetable notes on the top, and it is quite apparent when you smell it. So I've had it on this hand drying, as I always do. I feel like I become like a broken record sometimes. It's been 2 weeks since my last review, so I've got to do another one and get back in there. I've had it drying here. I'll spray it again on this hand. It's kind of hard to aim because you don't know where it's going to come out, but so yeah, I mean it's absolutely beautiful. I haven't got the box, unfortunately. I got this. Mine is actually a tester, and I don't know if you can see it in there, but it's got tester, not for resale. Mine came like brand new in a perfect box, but it's still fine. So yeah, it's this one. If again, it's a really hard one for me to describe. I've done a few recently where they've been difficult because some fragrances are so naturally well blended. You look at the notes and you think, gosh, sorry, I almost burped them. You think, you know, is that in there? But the more I smell it and the more I take time to kind of discover it and learn it, I can pick things out. So it's kind of going to be difficult for me to review it. I want to review it what I smell, but as a newbie first smeller, it smelled different to me, which is weird. But yeah, what it smells like is it's immediately soft and sweet. You've got your top notes there, but they are not really a factor in what the overall smell is. You're immediately hit with all of the really soft sweet notes straight away. It's a very soft, almost sugary, powdery violet smell, and it's really, really stunning. But when you first smell it, you can smell it. Is it spicy? Yes, but only a tiny bit. It's so the spices are so blended into the base that it's not really about them, to be honest. I kind of describe it as dreamy. It's really soft and sugary, and there is this string through the middle of pure femininity. Sorry, my camera, if I record in HD, my camera cuts me off after 9 minutes, and sometimes I find myself rambling, and I look at the review later on and I go, oh, I just lost 10 minutes of recording. So I have to sometimes stop it just in between. So yeah, as I was saying, actually what was I saying? I don't know, I lose track of myself all the time when I get on a roll. But yeah, so yeah, I would say it's definitely not usual. It is different enough to stand out. I don't smell this from many people. I wish I did. It's absolutely stunning, and I must admit I've had mine for a while and I haven't really worn it that much. It's a shame really, because it does deserve a bit of attention. It's definitely, yeah, beyond usual is what I will say, and it's the main notes of it are all the gorgeous soft bass and heart notes. Amber is a really kind of well-rounded, sweet, powdery note, paired together with vanilla and violet as well. That's what you're getting. As I said before, it's almost candy-like, but with the spices and stuff, keep it just that way of being, just that far enough away from it being generic and boring. It's lovely. I've wrote down fluffy. I write down like kind of flash words that I think when I smell it. It's definitely sexy. It's one of those alluring kind of smells. It's not like, oh god, that girl's wearing a bag of sugar, or that boy is wearing a bag of sugar. It's it's interesting enough to not fall into that boring category of just sugary violet generic. So that's what makes it stand apart from the rest, I think. I put that it's intense because of how strong it is. It's a morpher. I use that word a lot. It's a perfume that morphs. It starts out, when you first spray it, you can smell those spices and stuff like that, but it immediately morphs into this bubble. A lot of fragrances I've reviewed recently are like that, but it is that. It settles into your skin really, really well. It's one that trails behind you. It will leave that kind of subtle, soft, purple smell, you know, when you leave a room, and it stays. It's an Eau De Parfum, and it lives up to its name. This is not a reformulated perfume. It's not changed since I first smelled it ages ago. My mum used to have this, and they've kept it as it is. So, excuse me, I'm really sorry. I went out for dinner with my friend recently, tonight, and my dinner keeps repeating on me. I'm really sorry, it's really impolite. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I will say that and then I carry on, but that's what I'm going to say about it. I wrote down dreamy, soft, velvety, sweet, with a feminine edge, sexy and alluring. It's kind of like, you know, now you have all of these celebrity, fruity, floral or kind of gourmand fragrances for girls. You know, Rihanna's releasing ones like that, Britney's got a lot of them. This is like that, but before they did it, before they ruined it all, basically, this has got something much more special within it that keeps it a little bit more interesting than those. It's definitely unique, and if you know what violets smell like, then you'll kind of get what I'm going for with this. If you've never smelt them, then you're just going to have to smell it. Alright, so that's me. I'm out to one know, and if you like my reviews, please subscribe. I'll be doing more. I'm going to do another one right now because I'm in the mood to do one, and I'm going to go on holiday soon, so I'm going to be doing a few more of my reviews from Turkey. We wanted to take my reviews outside for ages to a nice place, and I'm going on holiday, so I'm going to do some kind of on the beach maybe, or next to, I don't know, a palm tree or something, I don't know, just to make it a little more interesting. Pretty bored of this background by now. Alright, so that's me. I'll speak to you guys soon or in a minute. Thanks, bye bye.